Well, it looks like Donald Trump decided to wake up from his nap, to stop sleeping in the New York City courtroom as he does so often these days, and actually go have a campaign rally. He had one in Wisconsin and one in Michigan today, and this might have been a miscalculation by the Trump campaign. They should have kept him in the courtroom because his rallies were an utter disaster. Utter disaster. He was going on these weird, strange rants as he so often does. He was highlighting wildly unpopular policy, taking positions that nobody in the United States supports except for his cult base. So he basically just wrote a bunch of campaign ads for the Democrats today. Just should have stayed in the courtroom. Just should have stayed silent, which is always a better strategy when it comes to Donald Trump. So I have 4 clips from this rally to show you today, all very different, all very strange. So just brace yourself. I will warn you, all very crazy. So here's the first clip of Donald Trump once again suggesting that he would not defend our allies if they were attacked by Russia.
Yes, the right way. I remember during a meeting, one of the presidents of one of the European countries stood up, and it was a closed-door meeting. He said, may I ask you a question, Mr. President? Yes. If we don't pay, we're not paid up, and we're attacked by Russia, will you defend us? I said, you mean you're delinquent? You haven't paid? That's right. No, I will not defend you.
Yeah, he goes, if you haven't paid into NATO, you're not going to get some defense from us, which is an insane policy. Imagine putting like a financial contribution to NATO, which countries are meant to be doing, but imagine putting that over world peace. Like if Russia invades a NATO country, an ally of ours that we are in this agreement with, whether they paid that year or not is irrelevant to me. Countries should pay, of course, but that's irrelevant to me. We should defend our allies. We should be protective of the countries that are in NATO, who have been there for us, and we have been there for them. Global peace is actually a good thing, Donald, and you know what that means, what he just said there, right? He's saying, essentially, whether they pay it or not, he's going to let Russia invade them. Matter of fact, last time he said this, he said he would encourage Russia to invade them. So he took that word out of there because he knew how bad it was. But that's what he's saying. He's going to let Putin do whatever he wants. We all know that. Putin did whatever he wanted under Donald Trump's first term, and if Trump wins again, God forbid, knock on wood, he's going to do it again. And this includes like invading countries now because he's going to stop funding Ukraine and then, just let Russia go wild, go into the rest of Europe. He's going to give him the key and the ability to do that, and the United States won't do anything because Donald Trump will either just say, oh, this person didn't pay or this country didn't pay, so it means we don't have to defend them, which is an insane policy. And even if they did pay, Donald Trump is going to say, no, they didn't. He's going to lie about it, as he always does. He's going to lie and say, no, they didn't pay. Go ahead, Russia. I encourage you. Have fun, Putin. You take that land, big man. Come on. Come on. What an insane position. This is why world leaders around the world, these different presidents, prime ministers, whatever, are in favor of Joe Biden winning again because he actually cares about global peace and wants to make sure our allies are strong as well, because when our allies are strong, we are strong. That's why different world leaders are a fan of Joe Biden, not Donald Trump, because we have peace with Joe Biden, this goal of keeping everybody safe. And then we have this chaos, anarchy under Donald Trump, where what Russia says goes. If Russia, you want to go invade Ukraine? Sure. You want to go into Poland? Sure. Why not? Latvia? Go ahead. Come on. We can't make the same mistake twice. We just cannot. This is insane. Yeah, so that's already crazy enough. But since we're already kind of talking about military-related issues, take a look at this clip of Donald Trump proposing a new policy for a potential second term.
To have. In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome, very much like Israel has, but even better. I'm saying, why don't we have that? We should have that too. We have a lot of hostile people out there. We have a lot of bad actors out there. We're going to build the greatest dome of them all. We're going to have...
Seriously? An Iron Dome here in the United States. Who is shooting missiles at us? Is Canada shooting missiles? Is Mexico riling up the rocket launchers, going to fire some into the United States? What is he talking about? By the way, we already have an air defense system. This already exists. If someone around the world were to shoot missiles at us, for whatever reason they may, we already have an air defense system that'll shoot down those rockets. Whether it's going for major metropolitan cities or another place in the United States, we already have that ability. That is already a thing. So there's two options here. Either one, Donald Trump is lying. He already knows it exists and he's just trying to get another political talking point. Or two, he doesn't know that it exists, which is incredibly concerning given that he was the commander-in-chief. It's kind of his job to know about those things. And it seems like he either doesn't or is lying about it. He does everything at these rallies except talk about the real important issues. Notice how he always talks about, oh, inflation is high, or immigrants, or iron domes, or how happy he is that women don't have reproductive rights anymore. All that stuff, but he never talks about the real issues facing Americans. How do we build up the middle class? How do we make healthcare costs cheaper for your average American? How do we do that? Well, he has no idea. He has no clue. He doesn't have a plan for any of these things. Notice how he makes these like super general statements like, you know what? We're going to have a mass deportation event. He always says that. We're going to have a mass deportation event. And then never explains how he's going to go about doing that. Now, we shouldn't do that for obvious reasons, but that's just an example of him kind of putting out these broad policy positions. And then when someone asks him like, so like, what does that look like? How you going to do that? And he goes, I don't know. I'm just having fun out here. You know, me and my buddies are campaigning for president of the United States. We're just having a good time. What a joke. I cannot believe that there are people who support this guy. Always, every single day, I am baffled by that fact. Just baffled. But in addition to those two already insane clips that you've seen, he appears to defame E. Jean Carroll again, prompting maybe another lawsuit against him from her. Take a look at that clip.
And this is the guy that's ruling on me in New York. And then we have another one in New York who gave someone $91 million because they said I defamed her. Because I said her story isn't true, I defamed her. $91 million. $91 million. Oh, so anyway. Hopefully the appeal process works, because if it doesn't, you just don't have a country. $91 million because I defamed her. Unbelievable. And I didn't.
Yeah. He goes, I don't know who that is. You know, I don't know her. And her story was false and all that stuff. By the way, these are some of the same claims he made about E. Jean Carroll that inspired the defamation lawsuits against him. So all I wanted to say about this clip, and the reason I wanted to bring it to your attention, is that if E. Jean Carroll's lawyers are out there, please bring another lawsuit against this guy. He clearly did not learn the first two times. Didn't learn with the $5 million fine. Didn't learn with the $83 million fine. It seems like he might need another lawsuit against him and a bigger fine against him, because he keeps bringing up E. Jean Carroll. He keeps saying, oh, I don't know her. When he does, he's found liable already for sexually abusing her. We know already that he did know her, in fact, and that was a lie. So he keeps lying about E. Jean Carroll, keeps lying about her story. I think it's time for round 3. I think it's time that E. Jean Carroll's lawyers come together and file a new suit in the great city of New York and bring another defamation claim against him, because he's going to keep doing it. We know Donald Trump. He always tests the bounds of the law, and he'll like inch closer and closer and closer. And ever since that second verdict, he's been doing that ever so slowly, and he's going to keep pushing it until someone is once again actually damaged or harmed. He's going to keep doing it. There needs to be another lawsuit, I think, because those are categorically false claims. It is absolutely untrue about E. Jean Carroll that he does not know her or that her story is false as declared by courts. So let's do it. Round 3. And anyway, the final clip I want to show you in all of this insanity is Donald Trump shouting out the Supreme Court for overturning Roe v. Wade. And I think there's a reason he's doing this, and I'll talk about that in a second. Take a look at the clip.
I want to thank the Supreme Court justices for having the courage. Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, Amy Coney Barrett, for the wisdom and the courage to do this. This took a great deal of courage and a great deal of wisdom to do this.
Yeah, he goes, all of these conservative justices, 3 of which he appointed. Thank you guys for overturning Roe v. Wade. Number 1. Campaign ad for the Democrats right there. You're talking about the Supreme Court. You're talking about him overturning Roe v. Wade. He's bragging about it once again, and he's pointing out that these conservative justices, of which he appointed, played a huge role, the role, I should say, in overturning Roe v. Wade, taking rights away from millions upon millions of women all around the country. That's one point, that he's thanking them for doing this, which is so sickening. It makes me feel ill, sick in my stomach when I hear that stuff. But the other thing is that he's like shouting these people out, like trying to get them buddy to him because he just had their immunity arguments in front of him. He's like, yeah, these American patriots on the Supreme Court. Shout out all of the Republicans on there. They're my buddies. Trying to like influence the court a little bit, as he does so often. He'll either make these threats or he'll praise them in an attempt to get them on his side, because his fate really does kind of rest in their hands. You know, at least in the couple cases such as, you know, the January 6th case in D.C. and Georgia, and maybe even the documents case and whatnot. New York is its own separate beast, which is taking Donald Trump down as we speak, hopefully at least. But, you know, he's trying to get them on his side because the immunity claim will absolve him of all this responsibility and give him the desired goal of pushing his trial back even further until likely after the election, if they give him even a small win in the Supreme Court, which is insane. But it's so disgusting. These tactics are so gross, so dirty, and he just does it all the time. But that's who Donald Trump is. So his rally was insane, just insane. You can see from all these different topics he talked about, bouncing around, getting confused, stumbling over his words, not really knowing what's going on. It's just another day in Donald Trump's land. Just another day in Trump world of craziness. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. I greatly appreciate the support. Also, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about this. And as always, I greatly appreciate you being here, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.